Hello, Shanice. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So before we begin today's session, I just want to do a recap of what we discussed, last session and how you were saying that you ended your relationship with your ex after you found out that he was married and that, you felt like you were betrayed and lied to and deceived by, your ex. And we talked about how it was affecting you emotionally and physically, and how we discussed how you didn't want, that tarnished relationship to affect you as a person and the next relationships that you go into. So what has been going on since our last session about with that situation?
Well, like you said, we are finished. Nothing that situation has been rekindled. But I did have a doctor appointment a couple of weeks ago, and the doctor told me I was pregnant. So that has happened. And, just working school and everything else.
So you found out you're recently pregnant. How did that make you feel, considering that you had, broken it off with your ex-boyfriend?
When the doctor told me, I was a little upset and confused and overwhelmed, but I thought it through, and I guess I'm okay.
So you felt overwhelmed now, but it seems like you kind of accepted it, and you're okay with it now.
Right. I decided I was gonna keep it, and I'm just trying to work through how that situation is gonna go moving forward. But yeah, it's happening. Is what I came to see. It's not the ideal situation, but it's happening.
So it wasn't planned, nor was it ideal, but
right.
It's something that you've accepted and that you're going to go, full term with.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to rock and roll it out, and he or she is going to have a pretty good life.
Well, how do you think that's going to affect, the relationship or lack thereof with your ex? Does he, know that you are carrying a child?
No, I haven't told him yet. I am going to call him and let him know. I guess it would be his choice if he would like to be in the baby's life or not. And his decision or choice isn't going to change my mind. I'm just going to continue. I would feel bad if he doesn't, because, that means the child has to grow up without a dad in his life. But my dad's still around, and I have great uncles and brothers who, could, step in and play that positive me role.
So, like you said, it seems like even though you haven't told him, that you will give him the option of being there, as the father, not necessarily as a significant other for you, but as the father. But it would make you upset if he did not decide to take on that responsibility and role, because you wouldn't want your child to grow up without a father.
Absolutely.
But if he decided that he did not want to do so, that you still have a support system. You have your father, you have your brother, you have uncles who could fill that void as a father figure for, your daughter or your future son.
Yeah, absolutely. I was envisioning when I got pregnant, I would be married, and, my child would have both parents in their life, like, together in the same household. That's what I always wanted. But that situation didn't play out like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to still give him the option, like, you can be there if you would like, and if you don't, I'm not going to force you, because, we're not together, and that's never going to get back. But, this is a child coming into the world who deserves to have both parents in their life. So I'm going to reach out and be the big person and, give him that chance.
Right. So it seems like although you had the ideal, picture in your head of how you wanted to raise a family, that is no longer. However, you still are going to, have a good life for your child, regardless of if, the father is there or not. But, I applaud you of being mature enough to, let him know that, you are carrying his child, and that he has the option of being there or not, and not necessarily forcing him or, giving him an ultimatum of what he should or shouldn't do.
Definitely. Absolutely. So now I just have to, try to move around some things here or there, and, get through the next couple of months.
And it seems like, in a sense, you're giving him an option when he didn't give you the option. You know, when you had to find out that he was a married man, you know, he kind of didn't give you the option of either deciding if you wanted to pursue a relationship with him or not. He made that choice for you. However, it seems like you have, you know, done some reflecting on yourself and how you want to give him the option, even though he didn't do the same for you.
Yeah, definitely. And one, this baby didn't ask to be here.
Mm-hmm.
It happened, so I feel like if I hold back the baby from, you know, the father, then what would that say about me when the baby grows up? Like, whatever happened to my dad, or why I never knew him. So I don't ever want the baby to second guess that. Either you're going to be there or you're not going to be there. You're not going to be there sometimes or whenever it's going to be for you, because that's just unfair and that's not going to work. So it's either yes or it's no.
So putting the needs of the child in front of whatever feelings that you guys may have had, or, you know, any leftover residual resentment or guilt or anything, putting the child before all of that.
Absolutely.
And still, although you're giving him the option, letting him know that, you know, it's in the best interest of the child. Either you're going to be there or you're not. It's not going to be a in and out type situation, or whenever he wants to do it type situation. You know, it's what's best for the child.
Absolutely. That's for sure how I'm looking at it. You know, going into that conversation. Mm-hmm. And we'll see what happens from there. But it's really up to him. My life is going to continue to keep on moving forward.
Well, it's good that you have that perspective. You know, you're not going to let, you know, the relationship that you had that, you know, may not have gone the way that you wanted it to go, nor the way that, you know, you're having your child stop, you know, what you want to do as a person and what you're going to have going forward with your child. So we talked about last time how your family was very important to you and how, you know, you had shared your relationship with your ex with them. Mm-hmm. You know, have you shared your news of, you know, having a child with them as well?
I have. I told them. They were maybe like different emotions when I first told them, but everyone was, you know, on board and, you know, willing to support me in this decision I made. So that I am very, very grateful for, actually.
So it seems like the mixed feelings that you had, you know, finding out that you were pregnant, your family also had those same feelings.
Definitely.
And then the feelings of acceptance that you had, your family also has that. So, you know, having a good support system, you know, not just for you personally when you were going through your breakup, but now that you have a child on the way, you have that same support network that's extended to your child.
Definitely. I'm sad that my family's like in New York and they're not here in North Carolina with me, but I am gonna figure that one out. Like, I'm not gonna move. I'm just gonna, you know, try to see, because I have school and I have work, and I'm just trying to see how all this is gonna combine together. Mm-hmm. That's really my big concern right now.
So it seems like you have a lot on your plate.
Absolutely. Found out I was pregnant. 3rd semester of graduate school, and working.
Wow.
And I'm just taking it day by day, trying to figure out how I'm going to fit this whole new person into my current situation. It's a lot.
Seems like a lot, but even before the baby was in the picture, you were juggling a lot too. But
Absolutely.
It seemed that you were able to juggle it in a way that, you know, your balls didn't fall all over the place. You know, you were still able to stay focused and determined in the things that you wanted to do. So although you're having a baby, like you said, you might have to change some things around, but I feel like that you would still be able to do the things that you want to pursue. It just may be in a different way. So what are some ways that you feel like, you know, you might think that you might have to change since your child, you know, is on the way?
Well, I'm almost over school. I only have 3 more semesters left. Mm-hmm. So that is definitely going to stay the same. Like, I'm not going to stop going to school or anything. You know, I may have to take a few days or a few weeks when the baby's here, but I am going to try to probably get whatever sense in me and just try to work it out, because I don't have to, like, delay the graduation process. And work, I may have to cut back on some hours, like later on in the pregnancy, but right now I'm just gonna really grind, so I can, save up money so that, when I take a little break, I'll be okay percent, and maybe finding a larger place to live because I have a 1-bedroom house, so that is not ideal for another person running around. So yeah, all these things I have to, try to work on before the little one arrives.
So, you said kind of working as much as you can now.
Absolutely.
Before the baby gets here, and, making preparations and considerations with school, so when the baby gets here, you have everything set in place, as well as, trying to find a new place so that you have enough room for yourself and, your child. So it seems like you kind of know the things that you have to do. It's just about, kind of getting them done and kind of staying on them.
Definitely. I know what I have to do is just really taking the initiative and the time to actually go out there and, do it. My apartment has, like, really good 2 bedrooms, so that may be, like, a quick transition out into another building. And work, my job can be flexible, and if they're not flexible enough for me, then I would have to find another job. But we'll see. I don't think I'll be at the job long anyway, because I'm going to graduate December 2017. So then hopefully I'll have my career by then, so it'll be a little different. But we'll see.
So it seems like some things are not going to require a big transition.
Absolutely.
Just, making little adjustments here and there, for you and your little one.
Definitely. And I guess, daycares and all that stuff, which I'm really not too ready for yet. So I'm kind of trying to think about it. Just going to take this time, one day at a time.
Just being in the present and kind of enjoying, all the little changes and the big changes that are coming your way. So just kind of taking it day by day and
Definitely.
by the moment, and living in the present and not, getting overwhelmed with, like, all the future things that you have to, worry about. Because, like you said, you have a lot on your plate. You're an expectant mother, you're a student, you're, working childcare. So you have lots of responsibilities to juggle, on your plate.
Definitely. And this is, my first kid, so this whole process is really just going to be a learning process. And that's really it. So I'm just really going to take a day at a time and, try to educate myself on some things I know about it. Get some information from family and friends who already have kids, and just, try to embrace it.
So embracing it and, going to your network of friends and family for support, for advice, for, just being there with you, Sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes just like to be there,
Absolutely. And then I'm really trying to come into just being, a single mom. Because I didn't think that I would, be in that role. Like, even though I'm okay and I'm going to keep the baby and see it through, it's just like, man, I'm going to do it by myself. So that, too, is something that I'm trying to come to every day.
So trying to accept the fact that you went from, being in a relationship to being a single woman to now being a single woman and being a single mother.
Right.
So that is, can be something that might take time to, sort of wrap your head around, because that is a lot,
That is a lot. Like, I take my hats off to, females that can do it, and I, empower them. But now I'm in a situation I'm just like, wow, maybe I need some of that empowerment. But we're gonna, we're gonna see. Definitely see what happens.
Well, it seems to me that, you have the determination and the willpower to, be a successful person and to be, a great mother. You already, like, from the things that you've said, that you are already putting, the focus on your child, what's best for not you, but for your child, as far as, professionally, emotionally, taking things out of your life that don't necessarily fit or having to make the proper adjustments to, put your child in a position to have a good life, regardless of you being a single mother and having to do it by yourself.
Right. That is very true. So with that, and then, being stressed from school and work and just feeling overwhelmed, it's a lot.
Well, tell me more about, school and work.
Well, ever since I started graduate school, I've taken 4 classes. I never took anything less than that. But when I first started the program, I was working retail, so I had flexible hours and I had so much time to play with, and it just was it was flowing so well. But now I changed jobs, and I'm at daycare now, and my hours aren't as flexible. And if I'm not there, I'm in school, and then going up in the program, classes are getting harder, and it's much more work, and I feel like I'm just so tight with time that I'm just overwhelmed and I'm stressed all the time, and sometimes I just hate it. I just hate it. I'm happy that the program's almost over because I want to graduate, and sometimes I'm just man, I don't know how to make it.
So on one hand, you're, excited that for when you're expecting mother, and that, you're doing something that you want to pursue, being a counselor. But on the other hand, you're kind of dreading it. Like you said, you hate the fact that you're so overwhelmed with so many responsibilities. Because you said, starting the first semester, you were working part-time, and you were taking 4 classes ever since you started. And with that job, it didn't have as many responsibilities as the one you have now. And that now that you have a new job, that one's more demanding than the one you had before. And it's sort of kind of hard to kind of juggle being in school, working, having personal time, and now that you're pregnant, seems like, there's responsibilities are constantly being added to your plate.
Yes, absolutely. My job, when I first started there, we had maybe 5 or 6 twos. So that's ratio for, one teacher myself, which I enjoyed because we had 2-year-old teachers. And then 1 left, so it's just me now. And I was okay with 5 or 6 kids, because those kids were good, and they listened, and it wasn't so stressful. Now we have almost 11 kids, and the center as a whole is kind of still short staffed, but we're making it work. We try to we're just there's 2 top teachers. We'll send a kid over there, so we'll work it out where I have 9 by myself, because that's the ratio for that classroom, but it's still so overwhelming. And on top of that, we have 11 because we have 2 Todds in our classroom who always in the 2-year classroom, and it's just all the kids' different attitudes, and sometimes they don't mesh well together, so the classroom is chaotic often, and it's just so overwhelming sometimes. And I'm just get home and I'm tired and I just want to go to sleep, but I can't go to sleep because I get schoolwork done. And just maybe I need to cut back on some hours at work, or maybe I need a new job, but I don't know. Overall, I love being there. It's just sometimes I wish that I might have help or assistance in the classroom.
So you love your job, or you love what you do. However, like you say, you went from having help with another teacher present to you just being you by yourself with 11 2-year-olds, that's a lot. And like you said, it can be very chaotic, and that can affect you. Like you said, you get home and you go from one responsibility or one role, being a teacher at a childcare center, to having to put on a whole different hat of being a student and having to take care of those roles and responsibilities. And that can be, overwhelming when you're tired. You've had a long day, you've been working with 2-year-olds, and you just want to rest, but you have to, keep pushing in order to get your work done.
Absolutely. When I get home, I literally just want to lay on the couch and just close my eyes. But with 4 classes, I don't have time to do that. I literally have to get work done. I have to get papers in, and I'm just trying to, find a balance in between the 2.
Well, I commend you for getting this far in your program and juggling being a student and being a teacher. That's a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah. It is a lot. And that's, I used to work, 9:30 to 5:30. last semester, and I realized like that schedule was never going to work for me because I probably would have been on my job to like 5:45, almost 6 o'clock, and by the time I get home, it's just like maybe I could do a few discussion boards, but I'm tired, so I had to cut back on those hours and then cut back on some of the days. So now I'm there 4 days a week, which is still a lot, but it's not as bad because I'm there 8:30 to 3:30, so it's not too bad. It gives me a little more leeway when I get off work to try to do some work before it gets too late. So it kind of helped a little bit.
So you were able to kind of make considerations in about the kind of the amount of time that you were doing at work, like, spending at work in order to be a better student, because it seems like you were working a lot and dedicating a lot of time to being a teacher, that it was cutting back on the time being a student, and that was affecting you. You felt tired and fatigued, but you needed to be energized so that you could get your work done for classes and stuff.
Absolutely. I moved down here for graduate school, so that's my main priority at this time. So getting good grades and getting out of the program is my main goal. Like, yeah, I have to work because I have to pay bills and provide for myself, but still, like, I need to make sure that I'm going to the school. So I'm like, these hours have to get cut because it's not enough for me.
So making adjustments in order to put first things first to make sure the one thing that you came down here for, which is graduate school, is top priority.
Absolutely. Definitely. So I'm just like, you know what? Now with a new baby on the way, just gotta make some more sacrifices.
Mm-hmm. Which it seems like you've been doing a good job at doing so far. Being able to make the proper adjustments, and now that you're expecting, you have the mindset already to kind of take things out or move things around that don't necessarily fit for you at this present time in your life.
Absolutely. Definitely. So moving forward, I'm just going to try to manage it. I'm going to try to manage all three and get through these last 3 semesters, which shouldn't be too bad. Get this like practicum and internship and 1 or 2 more classes. So I should be alright. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
It seems like, you have a lot going on. However, it also seems that you have the mindset to go forward. You're determined to, be a successful counselor and also an expectant mother. And you want to be able to incorporate all the things that you have going on in order to make the process.
So I feel like I'm overwhelmed all the time, and there's so much work because from summer school I had to have a break into fall semester, and I feel like I'm just like swamped right now.
So it sounds like you're like overwhelmed because you said that this is your 3rd semester in graduate school. Compared to your 1st semester, you were working part-time, but you were also taking 4 classes. However, with that job, you were able to kind of keep your balance there. However, at this new job, you feel like you're there more often, and that's sort of like a tug of war in a sense of how you can balance your work life with your school life and your personal life.
Absolutely. Like when I first moved down here, I had a retail job. So, with retail, it's easy to, you can make your own hours, and it's kind of like hit or miss. I could work like weekends if I don't work every day of the week. But this job as a teacher in daycare, I'm there every day besides Monday when I have class. So it's just so much more responsibility here than when I was at retail. And now that I have 4 classes and the classes are getting harder, it's just like, man, like how am I going to make it this life?
Well, I would just want to say, it's great that you've made it, to your 3rd semester, working, part-time, whether it be retail or as, a teacher at a childcare center, and still being able to, keep going, pursuing your educational endeavors. But you were saying that, your retail job, you had the flexibility to kind of make your own hours, you didn't have as much responsibility as being a teacher at a childcare center where, you have more heavier load, and you also have the responsibility of, having to be a student and having to take care of those priorities as well.
Absolutely. Like now, like when I first went to daycare, we had like a good amount of staff. So it was kind of like everything was in ratio, and I had help in the classroom I was in. And now that teacher is gone, and we're kind of short staffed, so it's only me in the classroom now. And it's like, kids at 2 years old, terrible twos, they're just like everywhere. So my mind throughout the day is like scattered, and it's just like, by the time I get home, I'm so tired. I have to like force myself to do schoolwork, which I feel bad for because I moved here for school. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, man, I can't wait for this to be over.
Mm-hmm. So it seems like, that overload of responsibilities at work, going from having help to no help, that probably has put some pressure on you that you already are carrying from your responsibilities of being a student. And so it seems that, although, like you said, you moved here from, a different location here just to pursue your educational dreams, however, it seems like things might be getting kind of in the way of, how you're feeling towards school, because you were excited, but now it seems like you're more like, kind of over it in a sense.
Absolutely. Like sometimes I get excited, like when I graduate, I'm going to have 2 masters. But then when I'm actually like sitting down, stressed out, I'm just like, man, I cannot wait for this to be over. Mm-hmm. I literally take it a minute. Like, I'm going a minute, just per minute. I don't feel like I think too far forward. Just I'm thinking in the minute, like, I have to get this done, I'm just going to get done and hope that just passes over. Which I feel like is a bad thought process for me.
Well, I feel like being in the moment is sort of a good way to, like, see things, especially when you're stressed. Sometimes, like, people say you can't see the forest for the trees because you're so worried about everything that's going on in the future or how you're going to get this done or that done. But actually taking it, minute by minute or step by step actually kind of helps to break down that pressure or helps you to kind of, like, evaluate what's kind of going on. So, it might not be necessarily a bad thing, taking it minute by minute, like you said, because you have a lot going on. So sometimes just taking it in little increments kind of, like, levels out the pressure that you have, being a student and being a teacher.
Right. Absolutely. So now I'm thinking that maybe I may, like, cut back some time at work so I could focus more on school moving forward, because I know my classes will be harder and I have to start studying for comp. So it's like I don't have time to be stressed and overwhelmed because I actually need to pass these upcoming classes like I'm doing before.
Well, it sounds like you know that you have to take a kind of a step back, even though you work. However, you feel like you have to take a step back to kind of put things in perspective and put your priorities first. Then that you came down here for school, so it's a good thing that you're kind of reflective of, like, what's important and what can kind of wait a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't have time to be in school more than the time I have left.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just ready to get through it. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna come back in my hours at work. I'll have to, see how that goes. Or I may have to change jobs, but I guess we'll play that one by ear.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think you can use the time that you'll get from, kind of taking a step back from work? How do you think you can use that as a student and, personally, outside of work and school?
Well, since I have to take comps this upcoming March, any free time that I have, I'm really going to spend really just studying and definitely like doing homework for other classes. And then maybe on the weekends, I can take some time to myself, hopefully. Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll have to see how that all fits together.
So taking time to study for your comps. And what is that? What is comps?
It is a test of all the information we've learned throughout the program. Mm-hmm. So, I have both books I need to study for it, and I took a class that the school offered for it. So I just really need to, sit down and study and, refresh my mind about the things I learned before. Because I have to pass that test. Wishy-washy there for that one.
Mm-hmm. So taking the time away from work or kind of stepping back a little bit, you can take that time to actually, put towards your test that you have to complete successfully in order to get your degrees.
Yes, absolutely. And then some of the girls in my program decided we come together and have study rooms. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was a great idea. We could just feed off each other. So I thought that'd be a good study time. So now that I have less hours of work, hopefully, then I can dedicate more time to the studying process.
So in a sense, it seems like, the help that you had got taken away from you at your job, now you're getting it, in your studies with a group of, students to kind of help you or help each other to, pass an important test, in order to get your degrees.
Yes, that's actually a good way to look at it. I actually didn't think about it. But yeah, definitely, that's actually a really good way to look at it. Spending time studying versus stressing. Mm-hmm. But at my job, I do hope that they would hire some staff soon, since I'm still there, because it's like draining my body.
Mm-hmm. So you said it's draining, your time and your energy, but you said it's kind of affecting your body as well. Like, how else is, all the pressure that you're under affecting you?
Well, I am gaining some weight from that because I'm overeating, or I eat bad, so that's one bad factor. And just not having enough time for me, I feel like, is another large concern of mine. Mm-hmm. But I guess starting grad school, I knew that I wasn't gonna have that much time to, play with, especially coming down to last 3 semesters.
Mm-hmm. So, being able to, look at yourself and like, oh, well, I started grad school and, the time that I thought I had for myself, and that's kind of stretched thin in a sense. And it seems like, you take one factor out, but then another one comes back. Like you said, you're working, but you're going to kind of step back from that. But now you have another responsibility of comps.
Right.
So it seems like you're juggling a whole lot that is affecting you, physically, emotionally. You say you're gaining weight, which, sometimes that comes when you have a lot of pressure. Like you say, you don't have a lot of time for yourself. Mm-hmm. So how do you think that you can, take some time for yourself, in the next coming weeks? Because is the semester, coming to an end, or do you still have a lot, to do?
The semester's coming to an end. Okay. Actually, I will be done with everything this upcoming Monday.
Okay.
So
that sounds good.
Yeah, I have a little more free time, and I'm gonna keep my same hours at work that I have right now. Instead of working more hours, and then I'm gonna take that time when I get off early to relax, get some sleep in, hopefully try to work out. Because I've been trying to work out forever. Mm-hmm. I haven't got there yet, so I'm gonna attempt that now that I have some free time.
So taking that allotted time that you had from school, then to kind of focus on you to kind of recharge. So when you go into the next semester, you're not, sluggish and dragging, but more, optimistic that, you have a few more semesters to go, and then you'll be finished.
Definitely. And I'm actually excited about these upcoming semesters. I get to start practicum, and then my internship over the summer for my mental health. So I'm excited. I'm excited. That I have to say. I'm really, really excited about getting into the schools and working with kids, and then this mental health internship. I'm excited to learn some new things.
So you're excited to kind of, turn over this new leaf in the, next phase of your program, going from, taking classes that prepared you, but now actually going and using those skills and content that you've learned into an actual, counseling setting.
Absolutely. I'll be at my practicum site in elementary school 2 days a week, so I'm really, really excited about that. So I'll spend some time working and then some time actually using these skills, like I said. So that is very, very exciting. And then over the summer for my internship for mental health, that should be interesting, is what I'm telling myself. Mm-hmm. So yeah, both of them have me pretty excited, I would say.
So you're excited just overall. So kind of to get to the field, it seems like, you're running a race. But then you're almost to the finish line, so you've gotten recharged. You're okay, I'm almost there, and these are the next steps I have to take in order to kind of get there.
Absolutely. And then we're going into a whole new year, 2017, so I'm just excited as a whole, because by the time I start school, we will be in 2017. So that's a fresh new start, a fresh breath air coming in.
So how do you think you can take the things that you learned, working as a teacher at a child care center, and incorporate them as, a counselor when you go into your practicum and your internship sites?
I've always volunteered with kids and stuff, and I always had a great deal of patience. Mm-hmm. And then now that I'm working with 2 years, I've never worked with that before. So they have tested feel like overall I probably became a better individual, and I can accept more things with this younger crowd now. So going to the school, like those kids won't be as young as now, but I feel like overall, like my mindset is different. Like I'm kind of chill, a little more chill, relaxed, because I feel like 2-year-olds are way different than working with somebody that's maybe like 7 or 8. 7 or 8, they have a better understanding.
Right.
2, I have to keep repeating the same thing over and over. So it helped me. It helped me.
So it sounds like you can take, the patience that you learn, in all like the characteristics of being a good teacher and incorporate them to being a counselor. And even though you say, working with 2-year-olds versus 7-year-olds, that is a big difference. But, as a counselor, sometimes you have to reiterate, some factors or some interventions with a child because they necessarily not begin it just the way you would with a 2-year-old. So, kind of incorporating those two experiences together should enhance your practicum, experience.
Definitely. That is a good point. Yeah, I definitely will. We'll see.
So then you talking about your mental health, practicum site. And you said that was going to be interesting. So what about that do you feel like is going to be interesting?
Well, going into my program, I originally got accepted for just school counseling, and then my advisor was like, "Oh, why don't you add another degree?" And I was like, "Okay." So it was like mental health or career counseling. I didn't really want to do career counseling, so I chose mental health. And I took a few mental health classes, and they were okay. So in my internship, it's $300, and the place that I'm maybe going to works with various populations. So I'll have a chance to work with kids and adolescents, but actually adults and then older adults, which I'm kind of excited about. But I just feel like it's gonna be interesting because I feel like I know a lot more about school counseling because that was my first track versus mental health. I need to know more of the disorders and that type of stuff. So I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I haven't took assessment yet, which deals with the DSM and the disorders and stuff. And I'm just interested. It's gonna be interesting, I guess.
So it's gonna be interesting because, like you say, your school counseling, you're kind of I got this.
Right.
I've been very prepared for this. However, you kind of added on mental health, which isn't your first track, but you've learned some things. However, you feel like you could be more prepared to go into that setting.
Yeah, definitely more prepared. But before I'll do that internship, I would have taken an assessment and then intro to mental health. So I figured that would probably cover some basic needs of mine, once I get up there and work through it. But hopefully they'll have some good leadership and guidance.
Well, yeah, because it seems like you sound like you're very prepared to even go into the field of counseling.
Right.
And particularly, you said school counseling, so I'm pretty sure your program is going to have you prepared to go into the mental health. I don't think that they would just, stick you in there, So I feel like you'll be prepared to go into, your mental health setting and, through your classes and learning that concept, you'll be, more confident. And it'll still be interesting because mental health is an interesting field. However, it might be more, exciting too, like you were excited about the school counseling, internship and practicum.
Yeah. That's what my family keeps saying. They maybe you'll go there and maybe you'll decide that you want to work at a mental health center. I'm just no. Don't change my mind. I want to work in elementary school, but you never know. You never know. So I'm going into it with an open mind and ready to embrace anything that comes.
Well, at least you kept an open mind in adding that mental health track because, sometimes, you might be in a school setting where there might be mental health issues present, and having that background can kind of help you to, navigate the interventions or things that you would use with a student that, you may not be able to have done had you not had that, experience with mental health.
Yes, that's actually very true. That's very, very true. From my mental health internship, I know that I'll find some good resources that would be great for kids and their families in a school setting that I would be able to recommend to them. So that is a positive coming from that side. So we'll see.
it seems like you're confident and you're excited about not just school counseling and, you know, mental health, but also like you said, going into the new year and all that great stuff. So what are some things that you feel like you want to accomplish in 2017? Because it seems like you've accomplished a lot this year, being, you know, working and juggling a job and being a student and, you know, adding on a whole nother track to your degree. It seems like you've got accomplished a lot this year. So what kinds of things do you think you can accomplish in the year, you know, coming up?
Well, in 2017, I would have graduated in December.
That's something to be very excited about.
And hopefully I'll get a job at elementary school that I really, really like. That would be another blessing. And, you know, just overall, just being a better person and being healthy and surrounding myself with positivity, that is important. And, you know, building a stronger connection with God, that is important. And that's it. Just accepting anything that comes my way, any new challenge. That's what I'm looking forward to going into it.
So accepting new challenges,
Definitely.
you know, mind, body, and spirit. You say, you know, you want to get a good job, you know, once you graduate in the end of the year, and that you want to, you know, make sure your spirituality is, you know, intact the way that you would like it to be. So, speaking of spirituality, how do you think that has helped you, you know, kind of get through this year? Because you said you had a lot going on, a lot of pressure, a lot of, you know, responsibilities and things that you had to take care of. So how do you think that has, like, played a part in that?
A very large part. I am convinced it was really by the grace of God that I made it through this semester. And the semester before that. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I try to make sure I pray and stuff every morning and just keep my mind focused so I can get too sidetracked. But yeah, that and go to church every Saturday, and when I can't go to church every Saturday, I try to watch the service online just to keep me grounded. So yeah, God has definitely been a large part, I would say.
So having God in your life has kind of centered you,
Right.
you know, in terms of, you know, being balanced and, you know, trying to stay focused and optimistic and positive, regardless of, like, you know, the circumstances that are going on and the responsibilities and the things that you have, you know, going on in your life.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And then I have like people around me that's so positive that it literally keeps me going. Like I'll be like, I can't do it. I'm really gonna keep it. And they're just like, no. Especially people in my program. The girls in my program are just like, we're gonna make it through. We started together. We are rocking and rolling. God is gonna take us through. And it's just like positivity and just, you know, family and friendly support like helps me. So I just appreciate it a lot.
So not only has God been an important factor in your life, but the people in your program, like you said, the girls, you're sort of like a sisterhood in a sense, you know, to keep you motivated and, you know, to help each other get through, you know, hard times and, you know, to be a comfort and support, especially when it may seem like nobody else understands. You have that, you know, that sisterhood in a sense to kind of fall back on to help you keep pushing and keep going. Like you said, they said, you know, don't give up. You know, you have this.
You hit the nail on the head. Because I feel like, I have other friends and best friends, but like we're all in different tracks, and they're not in school, they're working. So they'll tell me like, oh, like we're proud of you and keep going, but they really don't understand like the everyday struggle and the nitty gritty. I can tell them, but they won't. I feel like they get it partly, but they won't get it because they're like not going through it. But the girls in my program, we are literally going through the same struggle. So we kind of understand where each other. So it's like a different understanding than my other friends outside.
So it's like you guys are in the trenches, but they're like, you know, not on the front lines. They don't see it. They don't sense it. They don't understand that, like, the struggles, the, you know, the long nights and, you know, early mornings and treacherous assignments and things of that nature. They may not understand how they still support you. So you still have like a good network of friends and family that, you know, really want you to do well and want you to accomplish, you know, what you came down here for.
Absolutely, which I'm gonna do. I'm definitely gonna, you know, push through. So yeah, both sides, positivity is great. So keep me going.
So it seems like you can take that, you know, and kind of put that into your work, and then as well as being a school counselor, being optimistic and positive, and helping children to build networks of positivity and support in order to help them get through the things that they're going through, or they may come to you for as a counselor.
Absolutely. And everything is your doing. So that I do agree.
So how do you feel you can? What types of things do you think you can do now that can help you to kind of propel you to like being the best school counselor you can be? Like, how do you envision yourself like being a good school counselor? What things do you feel like you need to either work on or whatever in order to be the best school counselor or a mental health counselor that you can be?
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely positivity, and I feel like as a counselor in training and as a counselor moving forward, every day is going to be a whole process. It's never going to be one day where I'm like, oh, I nailed it, I got it all, because it's just not going to happen. Your research is out, I'm working with different populations, so every day would be a learning, track for me. But just being positive and keeping up with current research and communicating with the people in my program when they start working, just different, perspectives on different situations that we may be encountering with different kids is something that I feel is really important going into being a counselor. I definitely want to learn more about other cultures because that's super, super important working in a school system. It's an array of different kids coming in every day. So definitely being able to be culturally competent is important. So definitely that. Keeping up with like CBT because that is a theory that I'm kind of leaning towards. So definitely keeping up on that research, but also looking into like other theories that would be good for other populations. So just really staying current, keeping my mind really going.
So always, kind of like still being a lifelong learner. Like even though you're going to be out of school, still having that perspective like I'm a student and like every day is a new challenge. Like you said, working with 2-year-olds is a challenge. So that would still be every day is going to be something different. You're never going to come into your office and it's going to be the same. Mundane tasks. It's always going to be something that's going to keep you on your toes. So like you said, staying current, with recent research and also still communicating with your counseling peers in order to bounce feedback off of each other. Like I said, that will help you to be the best counselor that you can be. So today, you came in and you said that you were stressed, about, your responsibilities and your pressures of being not just a student, but also a teacher at a child care center. We talked about, how you can take the things that you learn throughout your program and your work experience and merge them together, to go into your next phase of your program with your internship and practicum. We also talked about how you can be the best counselor you can be from those experiences. So, next week we'll talk about some more about your, school endeavors and, anything else that is, bothering you when you come back in. So, how's that sound?
Definitely. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for coming.